why do you choose to come to China where they speak a language different from yours? And it was like you could speak this way for 3 good months. Can you speak Chinese? I get so embarrassed. How much? They said, Shama, Shama, Shama. Hey guys, how are you all doing? It's your favorite Mr. Sup, and I hope you all are doing very well. Currently, I'm still around this park, close to a hospital where I came to do some, check on my food, and people have been asking me some questions, recently. Why do you choose to come to China? Why do you choose to come to China? What made you to have that decision? Why did you come to China among other countries? You have countries in the West, America, and so you have even Europe. Why did you choose to come to China? What made you came to China? Did you wake up on the wrong side of the bed and decide to come to China? Why did you choose to come to an Asian country where they speak a language different from yours? Are you not find so difficult here in China communicating with these people? How do you are different from them? How do they find you? Why are you here? What even made you to come to this place? Why did you decide to come here? All right, guys. So I'm going to answer that question in this video. Why I came to China. All right, guys. Okay. Yeah, initially I applied for, after finishing from a younger age, I mean a very younger age, I have had that mindset of staying abroad. I don't just know why, but as I was growing up anyway, I had that mindset to stay abroad. I was growing up, was in secondary school, each time I would have it in my mind that I want to stay abroad, I want to live, I want to go and experience abroad. Experience life beyond the shores of my country. But I'm not trying to say that living in our individual country is a wrong idea. No, I'm not saying that. Sometimes we will have some individual preference, individual mindsets. But that was my mindset at an early age, that I want to travel abroad and experience life outside my country. So after my secondary school, I applied to West London College for a first degree. And even when I applied, nobody's aware in my home. My parents were not aware. It's a really funny situation. So I applied for West London College and I was given admission to West London College. But before I could be sent the documents for admission, I need to, definitely have to apply for, I need to pay school fee. And with the school fee, they will send me documents for admission. Then I can be able to apply for my visa. All right, that was how it was then. So the condition then was I'm going to pay the complete school fee for West London College for 1 good year. I'll pay the tuition fee for 1 year before I can get the documents to go and process my visa. So at that moment, family financial background was not so balanced, because at that point in time my dad was not so well, so we'll be spending some money on him for medical stuff. So I could not go. I wrote the school if I could pay half of the money, half of the school fee, tuition fee, and the feedback I get is I have to pay the full tuition fee for 1 year. I know it's around, I think it's around 4 years program or 3 years program, I've forgotten, for bachelor degree in West London College. It should be around 4 years, I've forgotten anyway. It should be around 4 years. I think same with Nigeria, 4 years. So they told me that they had to pay the complete school fee, and that was the school regulation. So I had to ignore that and was a court offer. Then I ignored that offer and focused in getting admission in the Nigerian university. So I got the admission and I studied for my first degree, and still having that same mindset of traveling out of Nigeria. After I finished my first degree, I now met a friend that knows a friend in China. And that was how I began the process, the admission to come to China. Okay, because then I was actually looking for also schools in US, in Europe. I was just looking for schools abroad anyway. I was not really specific. But having that experience initially with West London College, I never wanted to waste much time with schools that will give me conditions that I may not be able to meet up with. Because I know schools in Europe are really expensive. Schools in Europe are expensive if you don't have scholarship, and that's why most of our people from Africa that are going to Europe seek for scholarship. So, which I did also, but I did not get at that moment. And I said, instead of waiting for more scholarship chances, why not just apply to other area, try other area. Then I tried China, and I got admission. Yeah, the school fee was not as expensive as Europe, so I could pay. Then I came to China. All right, so that was how I came to China anyway. And but while I was living to China, my dad told me something. He said, look, if you are going to China, please make sure you learn the language. It is very, very important. Learn this language. And I got here, on my way, or let me say when I got to the Beijing airport, I discovered people were speaking, some were speaking English. It was English, yeah, English. Like those airport attendants were speaking English. When they see you as a foreigner, they could speak with you English. But immediately I was leaving the airport, I discovered a new life. Those taxi cab guys, hey, ni hao, ni hao, ni hao, ni hao, ni hao, ni hao. I was like, oh, what's happening here? So the airport environment, you could see most of the airport attendants could speak English because they know it's an international airport where they meet different people from different countries. So the common language they could speak to them was English. So, but when I left the airport, I started seeing the real China. But when I was going, some guys came and picked me from the airport. No, they picked me from the train station, yeah. Because at the airport, let me say, at Beijing, I was told when I got to Beijing airport, I should pick a bus to Beijing train station, okay? So, which I did. And from there, I met one of the school teacher that came there and spoke to me. It was actually in Beijing by then. And he was the one that helped me to get access to the train and things like that. Then I could board the train. And they told me when I get to my location, and someone will pick me from there, from the train station. Someone will pick me from there. So some guys picked me from the train station and they were taking me to the school. Those guys were they were also students in the school. They were from Nigeria. So while we were going on the road on our way in the taxi, and they were saying some stuff like a kind of interaction with the driver, kind of interaction. And they were using one word. They kept repeating one word: "Silaidong, silaidong, silaidong." I was wondering, what is silaidong? What is silaidong? In my mind, I could only capture that word, silaidong. So I asked them, "What are you guys saying?" I keep hearing you guys saying "silaidong, silaidong, silaidong." But initially, I asked them. I said, "Please, guys, what are you speaking?" They said, "Hey, we are speaking Chinese." They want to let me know that they're also there. They could speak the language because me, I'm a newbie. They said, "We are speaking Chinese, of course." The two guys anyway. I said, "Huh?" I said, "You guys are speaking in an unknown tongue. What I'm hearing from you guys looks for me so strange. You are speaking in tongues." Then I became a little bit uncomfortable, like within me. I was like burning. I was like, "Hey, so I'm going to pass through this kind of, process to learn this language and speak in this kind of tongue." That was within me anyway. And I asked them, "What are you guys saying? I heard you guys saying Silaidong, Silaidong. What does it mean?" And they said Silaidong means Sheraton Hotel. Sheraton means Silaidong. That they are asking the guy of the address to Sheraton Hotel. Wow. So at that point, I was completely lost. And within me, I made this decision that I must learn the language. That was where I made that decision, that on the way, this language, I must learn it. So when I got to school, one of those guys will come to accompany me every morning, come to my room. "How are you doing?" I say, "I'm fine." "Okay, are you going to buy any stuff?" I said, "Yes." Because then I came during winter, early winter. So we had to go to the shop or the store or the mart, the very big mall to buy my winter jacket and stuff and jeans and buy some clothing and some shoes, winter shoes. So, but since he was being my interpreter, each time I go out with him, I have to also bless him buy him some stuff. For me, new students now, with just some few money you get from Nigeria. Though he was not asking, but I just felt, I'm human. How would someone come to meet you, help you, assist you, do all this stuff, and you won't, what's it called, reciprocate, and show him some love and some, support. So I had to buy him some stuff. If I buy a shoe, I buy him one shoe. If I buy two, I buy him one. So that was how it was, but that was not the case anyway. But I felt within me that if I go this way all the while, I would never learn the language, because every morning he will come to me and ask me, "Hey, what do you want? How are you doing? Do you want to buy some stuff? Do you want to go out?" I was like, at the point after maybe 1 or 2 weeks, I had to stop. Each time they come and say, no, I'm okay, I'm fine, don't worry, I'm okay. So because I was like, no, if I go this way often or always, I will never learn that language, because he will always be the middleman between me and the Chinese. I will always be there, just inspecting what they are doing, or just just watching, while he does all the whole speaking. And for me, that was not good, because my idea was to speak the language. So at that point, I stopped going out with him often. We only go out once in a while. So oftentimes when I go out alone. I get so embarrassed. If I go out to buy bread, and I ask them how much, they said, Shama, Watimbo da, Shwajungwan, Watimbo da. I know those local guys. Sometimes they could be very aggressive, like they could be very outspoken. That Shama, like you come to speak with them English when you see that they are people that they are locals. You are trying to give them headache. Shama, Nigasha, so I remember those times. Zoba, go. Sometimes they could embarrass me at the first time. But I never allow those embarrassment to get inside me. Sometimes when they try to say all those words, I just smile, I just laugh within me, because I know what I was looking for. I'll still go back to them the next day. And at the point in time, I become this unavoidable threat, or what will I call them? Disturbance for them. I become this unavoidable disturbance for them, that when they see me, instead of becoming angry, they say, hey, see, that guy has come again. They say, in Chinese, nigga, white boy, laila, like that. So they became friends, and they even started teaching me Chinese. Though I was learning Chinese in the class, but we didn't have much Chinese classes anyway. But the things we learn in class and the things that these people speak are different. Like the Mandarin is what we learn in class. But these guys outside, they don't speak pure Mandarin. They speak the local language, which is the northeastern language. They speak the local language. So, like for instance, Ni chu nali means where are you going to? But for them, they say Ni chu nar, r. So they try to put an r at the end of the word and remove that na li. That's li. So ni chu nar. That's na and li. They put it as nar instead of na li. Nar. So it was completely different from what we were, or let me say a little bit different from what we were learning in the classroom. So there was still this battle to be able to integrate into the society. Because if you only base on Mandarin and you get to those guys, even some of them can't speak pure Mandarin because they are pure local people. Some didn't go to school, so they speak their native language, but which is also Chinese, but in a twisted way, which is what they know. Like for instance, like I said, like Nichunar instead of Nichunali. Where are you going to? Nichunali. Where are you going to? But they said Nichunar. They usually put R in their tones. Like for instance, was I Shamban? For instance, so was I Shamban means at the moment walking. I'm walking at the moment. Was I Shamban? War means me. War Zai at the moment. Shamban walking. So was I Shamban means at the moment walking. But they will say was I Shambar. R, not Zai Shamban, Zai Shambar, bar. They remove that N and put R, you know. So if you are not really careful with this, are you getting it? Like, you may be confused, like, what are they saying? Why are they saying R, you know? So I had to also learn this language from those guys, you know. Oftentimes I go out of the school gate, stay there, play with those people, those local guys. I was playing with them. Those guys are people that my friends will actually avoid. My friends will avoid playing with them because they feel that these people are local. You know, we came with style. We are the big boys. You know what I'm saying? But for me, no. I was not having that big boy mentality. For me, those guys, I will play with them. Those local guys, I will play with them. And some of them are very keen, very happy to see we foreigners come to them. So for them, they're really happy. But for me, I took that chance. I was moving around with them, playing with them, had a lot of friends with them, you know, making a lot of friends with them anyway. And with the local guys, local guys. So from there, I could really learn more when it comes to the Chinese language. And that really helped me. I have friends of mine that only stayed within the university and refused to mingle with these local guys. But for me, I did it a lot. I mingled with them, a whole lot. I had so many Chinese friends. After the school, we could talk, go around, you know, shopping, talk, and I could learn from them. And at that point in time, after I've stayed in the school for like 1 year, oh my goodness, even less than 1 year, I could speak reasonable Chinese. You know, I remember very well, 3 months after I was in China, 3 months, the guy that actually helped me in my admission documents, he came to see me in the school for the first time. You know, he was in China, a friend in Nigeria that linked me up to him. And he now assisted me to make documentation for the school. And he now came to see me for the first time ever. And I was with my friend, we were going to the library, you know, a Chinese guy. And we were speaking Chinese. So immediately I saw him, I went to meet him, and the guy also came together. And the guy was asking me that, is he your friend? But he was asking me in Chinese. Tashin da pongyoma. He was asking me, Tashin da pongyoma, Tashin da pongyoma. Is he your friend? I was saying, yes, Tashin da pongyo. So he was asking me right in front of the guy. And the guy had me speak the language. And he asked me, how long have you been in China? He asked me. I said, what do you mean? How come you could speak this way? Just in 3 months. I said, I was surprised he was asking me. I said, I'm just speaking normal. I don't know. What do you mean? He said, oh, young man, have you been here before? Like, you came here before and maybe you were deported and you're coming back again through studying. I said, no. This is my first time of being in China. And it was like, you could speak this way for 3 good months. I said, yes. I was surprised he was asking me that anyway. But for me, I thought it was just normal. He said, look, I've been here for how many years? And I know how long it took me to learn Chinese. You only 3 months. Are you sure? I said, yes, I'm telling the truth. And instantly, in my, just right in front of me, he took his phone and called my friend in Nigeria and asked him, are you sure this guy has not been here before? Because I saw him now and he's speaking Chinese now, and I'm really afraid, I'm worried. So I feel he has been here before, maybe had some issue and left and now came back again through me via studies. And that guy said no. My friend in Nigeria said no. That I'm his friend, that we live together, we grew up together. No, I have not traveled before. And he was surprised, he was shocked, he was saying, wow. So I'm not saying this to like feel good at language, no. But just letting you know that I was determined to learn the language. It's for you a kind of motivation. I've seen friends that have traveled to other countries. I have other friends too. But for them, they like complain of the language is so difficult. It's not difficult. It's just because you have not really paid attention to learn the language. You've not really given that sacrifice to learn the language. I told you I was insulted, abused by those people. Like, they will, verbal insults. Shabi Rena means, that was Shabi means foolish. What kind of troublesome guys? They were saying to me a lot of stuff that I should really get angry, because even those time I never knew what they were saying, but I don't know what those words mean until I went to ask my, what does it mean, Shabiren? What does it mean, what's it called, Mafaren? What does it mean? But, I could easily feel angry at that point because I felt they were abusing me. I knew. Like, speak Chinese. Don't speak English, speak Chinese, please. What are we saying? Like, but at that moment, I knew what I wanted. And I could just have to wave away or throw away all those feelings that should come by virtue of what they were saying. And that gave me immunity to learn the language. Not immunity against the language, but immunity to learn the language. And that was how I was able to scale through. I'm not saying I'm the best. There are many people here that speaks far better than I do, that speaks excellent Chinese. Some of them came here to learn Chinese. I didn't come to learn Chinese. I came here to learn to do my what's it called, MSc, master degree. I only learned Chinese for like maybe 2-3 months or 3 months, around 3 months in the class. Why I now switched to my major, which was mechanical engineering. So, but there are people that came here to learn only language, and those guys are extremely good. They are very good, very vast. But all I'm just saying is that if you are going out in an environment where they speak a language different from yours, be ready to learn the language. Else, you will have a lot of difficulty if you don't have an interpreter, which you may likely do not have, except you're an expert, or except you have money to pay, or except you have a friend that is willing to go around with you everywhere you go and interpret for you rather. So that was for me the whole short story, how I came here and how I learned the language. And later at the end of the day, I finished studying. I got a job, and even in my job, on the day of interview, I was interviewed in Chinese, not English. They began the interview initially with English, and they asked me, like, they said hello, I said how, and they asked me, because for them they were struggling to speak the English, and I had one of my Korean boss in that same meeting. Let me say boss then, because then he was my employer among the employers those interviewing me, but later became my boss. So one of the Korean guys were in that meeting, and he too was struggling to speak English, to interview me in English. And those my Chinese people too, like the boss, they not ask me, "Ni hui shuo zhongwen Ni hui shuo zhongwen Can you speak Chinese?" I say, "Yes, 我会, 我会, 我会." I say, now they now switch the interview from English to Chinese. So the interview that began in English, maybe just like maybe 1 or 2 seconds, 1 or 2 minutes, was now fully in Chinese. Then they could ask me all questions, and then I started working, and here I am today with my family. Okay, all right. So that's the kind of for you motivation to brace up. Okay, I have my friends that complain a lot. Here in China, a friend of mine was stuck in Beijing. Okay, Beijing, what's it called? Beijing train station, and he called me and said, "Oh, I'm having difficulty to get a train back to my city." I said, "What happened?" And I even asked him. He said that he couldn't find a train ticket. And I asked him, "Where are you living now? As in, where are you staying now?" Because before he finished studying, rather, he moved to a different city to continue studying anyway. Like, he finished studying, I think that was his language study, and later he entered degree or so. But we have not really been too in too close contact. We have been a distant friend, but I knew him anyway initially. And I was not asking him, "Where are you staying now?" And the way he was replying, he gave me, like, for instance, like, let me say Guangzhou, for instance. He said Guangzhou. Said he lives in Guangzhou. I said, "What is Guangzhou? You mean Guangzhou?" He said, "Yeah, Guangzhou." I was like, oh my goodness. This guy has been in this country for how many years? He doesn't even know how to pronounce his own city. I felt that, oh my goodness, it's somehow, there are things that could make you feel, what's it called, irritated. That's like, you live in Not even those you live here in maybe Guangzhou, for instance, Guangzhou, and you can't even pronounce where you're living. That's the city name. That means I now asked the person that, so why can't you get the train ticket? And he told me he has a lot of issue to communicate with them. And I was wondering about when you came, you applied for Chinese language initially. Yeah, he told me yes, but he couldn't complete the language and now switched to degree. And after then, he has been here for many years anyway. I was wondering that you'd have at least you did some language study, and you later switched to degree, and just simple talk. What's my piao? I want to buy piao. Sorry, I want to buy tickets. What's my piao? Now you're my piao. Where can I buy tickets? Just small talks, small chats. You could chat with just look, and you can't even do that. Oh my goodness, that's serious. Right. So if someone have stayed for so long and can't speak those little languages, those little talks, it's an issue. And one thing about this language is that if you do not learn them at early stage, you will gain immunity against those language. That when it becomes at a longer stage, you won't learn them. It becomes difficult to learn. If you don't learn them at the early stage and you stay long without learning them, oh my goodness, they become like that fish that is, let me say, the live fish that can be bent. But when it's dried, it becomes difficult to bend. It can only be broken. All right, guys. So I think I've been able to answer that question, why I choose to come to China. And maybe someone may also ask, why China? Why not different? Why not here and there? But frankly speaking, when I was planning to come to China as well, I also tried Malaysia. But thank God I didn't go to Malaysia. Even my friend almost duped me. 2 guys almost duped me in Malaysia. They asked me to pay some fees, school fee, and I've not even seen the school. I should pay school fee. What are you saying? I don't understand. They were giving some kind of, I know these are scam. Those guys were, one was a friend, but he's based in Malaysia. But when I say friend, was a former classmate. While the other was an acquaintance. But I felt those 2 guys were going to scam me. I shouldn't pay school fee to you. I should pay school fee to the school, not to you. So that was an indication of scam, which I did not fall for. Okay, and I now tried China, and it worked for me. And also, one thing why I chose China is because I wanted to experience a different culture. I'm someone that really likes challenges. To experience different culture and learn different things, learn something new. So that was why I also picked on China, that yes, let me try China. I know they have different culture, they don't speak English, and I like to have someone that I really like to put myself in an area where I can learn new stuff, new things. So then I found out China would be, for me, also a good option. So I could learn new things, learn new culture, have new challenges and new opportunities. New challenges and new opportunities. So then I decided to choose China as one of my options. And here I am today. And frankly speaking, I've never regretted being in China. For me, it has been a chance to learn, opportunity to grow, and all the rest you can imagine when it comes to moving upward. The only issue I have with China is that the country is not giving you permanent residency, like green card, no, like you have in the US. Like my kids were born here and they've never seen America. Also, they've never seen my home country for once. They've never gone out of this country for once. But the country does not give you a green card. Okay, though they have the Chinese kind of permanent residency, which can be given maybe like 20 or 10 years if you apply, and after then you have to renew. But I'm not very I don't know too much about this because I've not applied for it, and I don't really care to apply for it. I only apply for my what's it called, my residency visa. That's what's it called, the residency permit that can be issued for maybe like 10-20 years or so. I think for me it's not really important. I think it's not important. It's not equal to a green card. It's something you can still apply, but like the American green card, you apply once and you get it for life. Unlike the one here. So that's the only issue I have with here. That's like my kids cannot get these. Have a permanent stay like a green card here. That's the only thing I found a little bit not too okay with it. But for other things, as long as you can be able to integrate into the society and learn the language, learn the culture, every other thing becomes to you normal. But if you can't speak the language and you don't know the culture, everything becomes for you very abnormal, and you may get up becoming very upset, and in fact you end up hating the society because you are not part of the society because of language barrier. All right, guys. So I think I've been able to answer your questions as regarding why I came to China and the likes. So, guys, if you have any question, please keep them, or please put them in the comment section for me, and I will try my possible best to answer them for you. Once again, I'm your favorite, Mr. Sup. Please, if you are new on this channel, please try and subscribe. And for those that are returning to this channel, please, once again, I want to appreciate you, and thanks for being here. Guys, see you in my next video. Goodbye and bye.